See. Hey y'all, what's going on? Just giving y'all an update of what's going on with me. Uh, Glad to see y'all again. So here's the update. So I went back to the oral surgeon yesterday evening, and he went in and removed the sutures. He said some of them were loose, and so he removed them. Then he cleaned it out. So he didn't see any infection. Um, and then he put some paste in there, some type of dental paste and a dental foam. And it had some medicine on it, and it's he pushed it in the hole where the tooth was. He said I also had a dry socket in the tooth, and I was like, oh man, yeah, because I had the same thing over here. So, but everything looked. Everything was clear. I didn't have to get another shot or anything like that, and I'm have to continue taking my antibiotics and stuff. And then he prescribed me some pain meds and to help everything out. I have not had a fever since yesterday afternoon. So that's good. That's really good. Um, I was finally able to have a good night's sleep and nap throughout the day today and rest. So it's doing much better. I also have really good news, more good news on top of that. I had a appointment with my rheumatologist this morning. So the good news is, okay, so one, I'm off of the methotrexate, which is the chemotherapy. I'm off of that. And I've been off of that for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months. I'm off of the Benlysta. Same situation, been off for about 2 or 3 months. Um, I'm switching over to this new infusion. It's called hi Daniel. I'm I'm switching over to this new medication. It is called Cefnello. And the good news, the really good news is, because we kept going back and forth with that, was um, so right now I'm explaining the update from yesterday with my tooth, and then now the update of my lupus. So my rheumatologist is putting me from hi flavors of Aguilar. Greetings from Argentina, girl. Hey, check it out. Yes, hey. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Um, and cowboy. Okay, all right. Uh, unk. Okay, my ma'am. So, but okay. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Explain that to me. So let me go back and explain. So now we're switching over to a new infusion. It's called Cefnello. I've had Cefnello in the past, but I had to go in to okay. I had to go into the office to get the treatment. Now at the last 2 months, she told me that they switch or they approve Cefnello to be a self injection medication. So it comes in a pen form, sort of like uh, the peptides or any your diabetic medicines, and I take it once a week, and it'll be mailed to my house, so I don't need a nurse to come in and hook me up to a line and all of that stuff. So yes, so all I have to do is um, I was proactive and called the Cefnello manufacturing and got on the copay assistance, and I was already in the system. So I got my information and I gave it to the specialty pharmacy today. And so now they're working on. She had to resend the script in from it being an infusion to a self treatment pen. So we're waiting on that. But I also was told that I could not take it until I'm 10 days out from the fever and the antibiotics. So we are rocking and rolling, thank God. Um, I've been chilling, I've been resting. Uh, I want to say thank you. We gained two more subscribers. And I just want to say to all of you all that are subscribing, that are just listening to me every day, coming on here, and I just want to say thank you so much. Um, oh, the other thing, the dentist, he said that I possibly have a cold, so that's the other reason why we kind of have to wait on this on taking the Cefnello and just making sure that this fever goes away and everything can kind of get back into a better state. My rheumatologist said from my last labs, which was like two weeks ago, that a lot of things have improved. So um, I am not in a really bad flare. Lupus is not going haywire crazy. And some of the other levels that they checked for have improved. So, and it's not affecting my kidneys or anything like that. So that is awesome. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think what else I want to tell y'all. Forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, okay. So I was going to today. I was going to go and try to put together a new uh, content show slideshow, but y'all, I mean, I started getting tired and I started painting, so I just put it to the side. But I did try. I did take everything out to start putting it together, but I needed to rest. Um, oh, it's been raining cats and dogs over here the past few days. Our lights have gone on and off because of the thunderstorms. So I have been trying to keep everybody close to the house and not, go out and stuff. Um, and I think that's as far as if I can remember or the update that I can give you about my health. So I just want to know, how's everybody doing? What y'all like to talk about on the live today? Um, and I'm just what y'all want to talk about. Talk about this World Cup. Um, yeah, I'm just on here in the live. Want to talk, give you an update. Okay. Um, I know what I want to talk about. I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how finding that balance. If there's anyone that went to um, school post high school, how do you find that balance? How do you how can you figure out to balance your education, your personal life, um, and then um, building a career. Um, I can tell you, and this is something with I I can finally talk about now. It was not an easy thing to talk about back in the day, but now I'm able to talk about it. But remember, I was telling you all about when I was in when I went to ACC, and how the my professor explained to me how to set up and organize for each subject. And I took that and I apply that to my everyday life now. Like, I have a couple of file cabinets, and everybody in my house, we all have folders, we have binders, and we don't have well, I do have spiral notebooks, plenty of those, but I label them. So if you need something, you need for a piece of paper, important paperwork, your name, and everything is on this folder, and you can go and grab it. Um, that helped me just balance stuff out. But I know I want to talk about 9/11. 9/11 was, oh, okay. I don't know. Uh, oh, I want to ask you a question. Do you all believe in therapy? Let's see. Or would you go to? Okay. Okay. So I put that on there. Question: would you go to therapy? So I'm going to take and give you a scenario or a story about when I first went to therapy. So uh, my first year of college, I stayed home, and I was at U of H downtown. Had a had a scholarship that was like, my high school gave me so much money, and then the school matched that amount, and then I got grants and stuff from the state. So I thought I was doing pretty good. I really had no clue of how much school would be and what I actually needed. So when it came down to when school started, I thought that I was going to just go to the school, enroll, and then the money would be there for the books. And so I just go into the bookstore and purchase the books. Wrong. I didn't. The money was excuse me. The money was there to pay for the tuition for the class, but it wasn't there for the books yet. So meaning, um, I was starting class and I didn't even have any books. So I had just got a credit card. And see, this is the thing, man. If you all have children or relatives or even yourself, if you're thinking about going back to school, or you have children that are in school, getting ready to go to school or in school, and they have a credit card, y'all sit down and have a conversation and talk to each other and talk to a financial advisor about getting credit cards. They're good if you know how to use them, if you use them correctly. So I didn't have any money for the books, and the and on top of that, not all of the books were in for all of the classes. So I was only was able to purchase what was available, and that was like over $1,000. Freaked me out. So I just had this credit card. I got this credit card, and I bought the books on that card. And I was like, well, I thought that my tuition, my scholarship. So that's what they explained to me about refunds. And it was like, well, you won't get the refund till after you have to have been in that class for so many um, weeks, and then they'll issue your refund. So okay, so this is what I did. So I go to class, and then once I was, had my first day, got the syllabus and stuff like that in the books. Someone told me, came with the bright idea of, when you go to the bookstore, you can get these things called Cliff Notes. And they're similar to the books. And so, therefore, it's like a little study guide, cheat sheet to help you when you don't have the books. Don't ever do it. Stupid mistake. Don't ever do it. It The Cliff Notes are there to take your money. Take your money. So not only did I spend money on a credit card for books, but I turn around and put more money on that card for some Cliff Notes. Okay, school is going. This is like August, going into September. Aaliyah passed. That was so tragic, and that that caused some grief, some hurt. At the same time, one of my neighbors, she lost her granddaughter, and her and I were really, really close. Um, and so I was dealing with a lot of that grief. And then here comes 9/11. And let me tell you my story with about 9/11. So it was a Tuesday. And on Tuesday, I didn't go to school early. Like my classes usually started like 8 o'clock. And this particular class was a math class. That class didn't start till like 10. And so I said, I'm going to sleep in just a little bit later. And my mom had a daycare, day home daycare. And I can hear her moving around and, whatever. And I'm just asleep. And I heard her scream, Kalia, get up. Something happened. Something happened. The plane went into the building. And I'm like, what is she saying? What? I thought I was dreaming. And she came to my door. She's like, open the door. Kalia, get up, get up. The plane went into a building. And I get up, and we saw that the first plane went into the one of the trade centers, and it was like this is 8 o'clock Houston time. It was probably 9 o'clock New York time. So we're watching, and she's trying to explain to me. I'm sitting here. Um, she had just had the TV. You know how you have the TV on and you just let it make noise while you're doing other things. She said I had the TV on. I was just doing my regular routine, and I heard them say a plane went into the building, and they're showing this plane going to a building, and I'm like, this can't be real. And as we're watching that, the second plane goes in and hits the second building. And oh my God, I am 18 years old. I I had never I had never experienced anything like that on like in live and living color. We've seen terrorist attack stuff, and it was after the fact, um, or no one had actually recorded it. Does that make sense? So let me tell you how the world looked in 2001, September 2001. Everybody just moved about their day. The internet was not a big deal yet. I think we were all still using AOL, and in order for you to get on the internet, you had to pay. Oh yes, oh yes, you had to pay, and so it wasn't like you just get on there and just do your thing. We didn't have social media yet. We didn't have that situation. So these two planes go into the twin towers, and it just, I can only speak for myself. It broke something in me. It broke something in me. Um, it just, it broke some trauma, and it made me frightened and scared and afraid and worried that, oh my God, this is happening, and it could happen, more than once. Um, so I had to go to my class to 10, and mom said, um, I was watching. She said, "Are you going to go to class?" I said, "Yeah, I have a test today." And so she said, "Well, let's keep watching the news because they may say that y'all don't have to go to class." So okay. So I'm getting up, kind of, at this point, just trying to get my bearings. Then it hit. Then the next tragedy was the plane going into the Pentagon, and it just, it was like everyone, like everything just stopped and just said, "This is it." Okay. Um, we were getting news from our news affiliate people saying, if you are in the major cities like Houston, be aware, be careful, because there could possibly be threats going on in Houston. And my college was downtown Houston. And downtown Houston at that time was not what it looked like now. You went downtown for a purpose, and then you came back home. We didn't have so much of a nightlife. I want to say at that time they had maybe two clubs that I can think of, and one of them I barely remember the name of it. And everybody couldn't get into that. So what I'm saying, it wasn't like a girl, let's get it popping. Um, you went to work and you came back. Matter of fact, it wasn't a lot of people that lived downtown at that time, and they were saying that they were keeping a watch on that, like in all the different buildings and stuff. And I knew I had to take that test, so I was like, well, I got to go now. I can't, not be in class. So I get there, and it's very somber. It was very somber. Um, it was like a big funeral that no one wanted to be a part of. Um, I get to class. She didn't even show up. The teacher didn't even show up. So I was stuck because at that point they let us all know if you're on campus, you have to stay here. We on lockdown. We couldn't leave. So um, I can say that's one of the first times that I really just started like praying out loud and just saying, God, I need your help. I need you, because it was nerve wracking. So I stayed on campus all morning, all afternoon, all into the evening when they allowed us to kind of leave and go, going by our way. And it was I, it was traumatic. It was very traumatic. Probably about a week or two later, I felt myself breaking. Like, this is so much. This is so much emotional stuff. I'm in a new school. I'm trying to navigate that. I am, Aaliyah had passed. Then the World Trade Center happened. Then I had a family friend that passed. And it was just like building up on building up on building. Another thing was the one of the bigger things that I had issues with was the transition from being a kid or a teenager under my parents' wing to being an adult but living with them and going to college. I growing up, this was my curfew. The street lights came on, you come in the house. There was a handful of times maybe my mom had to send somebody to say, go get her, tell her to bring her butt in this house. But I, followed the rules. When I was able to start dating and going out with my friends and stuff like that, I had to be home like 12. This was in high school. And when I got to college, there was a curfew for me, and I could come in at about, I think, 3 or 4 in the morning. Um, and my parents waited up. They did not sleep. They waited till I walked in that house. So that was that. Something else broke into me. I felt like I need to have some fun. I need to have some fun. I have too much on my plate. So I didn't party in high school. I didn't go to the clubs. I didn't do a lot of dances. I went to class. I did what I had to do. I did my extracurricular activities, and then I came home and did my homework and was ready to redo it all over again. Um, so I wanted to party. So I was looking for clubs to go to every single night. Um, some if I went to class and like say we had this. I don't know if y'all heard about this 15-minute rule. If the teacher's not there, the 15 minutes, everyone signs a paper a roster like you sign and saying you was here that day, and then you give it to the department, and then they let them know that you was in school. So what after that happened, what do you do? What do I go? So I didn't probably didn't have another class, or Um, you know, I was like, well, I'm skipping. So I leave. I go to the mall. I go buy stuff. Um, I went to the movies one time with my homegirl. Um, just doing whatever and not really having a claim of that. So when it started to kind of really build ahead, I said, I got to go to therapy because this is a lot. So I asked, we had a health services. I went to the health service. I said, y'all offer therapy and this and that. And I remember them telling us on our orientation. And I was like, yeah, it's free. You just go in and you sign up for it, and then we'll give you an appointment and all that good stuff. So, okay, I started with a therapist. It was a black man. And he asked me like, what is the purpose of you coming? Why do you want to be here? And I said, well, because I'm, just a whole lot going on in my life, and I'm trying to balance it. And I stayed with him as far as my therapist. I think he left like the end of that semester. He went to another school, but I've continued with the therapy sessions. Then I went to this group therapy session that this black lady was our one of my main therapists there. She started this group for us women to to come together during the week. We would go like a Wednesday, and we would have lunch, and we would talk. And okay, so this is the World Cup situation. Let me tell y'all. Okay, I have I have my TV kind of like, okay, let me go back and see. So I'm going like kind of back and forth. I haven't been able to watch it all because I've been on these medicines that make me real sleepy and tired. But I am watching the clips. So and um the traffic here because of the rain it hasn't been really really bad, and um they couldn't do. I think it was they canceled one of the games a couple of days ago, but I have been watching the clip. So, shout outs to the World Cup. Yeah. So let me go back to the story. So that helped. So I was able to converse with other women that were in the same school, similar predicaments, and just have feedback. And what I learned in that was I was very okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know the school. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, so we go to um, the therapy, and so I learned at that time how green and naive I was about life. Just I grew up in a small little bubble circle. Um, well, hello, Arcia. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you. Welcome to our bunch. It's three people on here. If you're on here and you're listening, please hit the like button so we can make sure that the algorithm is going, and um, we can get monetized. So I just want to make sure y'all know that. So and thank you for being here and listening to the story. So I found I was really green. I found out that I was very naive about just everything. And these other women that were in this group with me, they were older. They were black women. Um, and what I loved about the meeting was that no one made fun of each other. It was more of, I've been there. I've been there, sis. I understand what you're going through. And I stayed with them in that group, 2 years, I want to say, as long as I at U of H. I learned a lot about myself. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't have a voice yet. I didn't have an identity yet. I didn't know. I didn't even know what I was going to major in. And let me say like this. Prior to college or going into college, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but you had to pick um, a major. And I really didn't know, like what exactly I wanted to major in. And I didn't know how to choose that. So just for shits and giggles, I chose business intermediate studies. So I chose business international studies, and I think I minored in political science. Excuse me. So that's oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's okay. No, no, no. Thank you for letting us know the score. I appreciate that. So, um, I didn't know. I didn't know what to which call. And the reason why I chose the business international is international studies, because I did go to Europe when I was 16 with my class, and I loved how everything was, just how everything functioned as far as business wise, and everything was connected through all of these different support channels and networks. And so I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And when I took political science, I did not do good. My first year with this political science teacher. And let me say this. I want to, because this is another thing, another lesson I learned from college. If you're in a class, in a college class, and you either can't understand your professor, like, and I didn't say stand that me, you couldn't like comprehend what they're saying, or you could not focus on them, withdraw and get into another class. You have that right. You have that ability. Um, the other thing that I was having trouble with was my note taking. In college, your note taking is totally different than high school. You, some and not all. Some professors will allow you to use a tape recorder, and some won't. At the time, um, I was talked out of getting a tape recorder because it was considered, uh, you know, low brow. Like you could catch it by, I was. What I suggest and what I end up, what helped me was when I got into the disability services at TCC in Tallahassee. They offered no a note taker, and they offered a tutor, and I always had a note taker. And matter of fact, your note takers, they completely understand how to take notes. They know how to write it, they know how to set it up, and then I go back, take their notes, take mine, combine it, and then I break it down. Vocabulary words, outline, and go from there. Um and I never saw my note taker. Let me say that. It was out, they were always anonymous. They knew me, but I didn't know them. Um Another thing I wasn't prepared for was buying all these school supplies. I was not prepared to buy Scantrons and buy blue books, and uh, making sure I had my pencils, pens, and everything on me at all times. There was no lockers I can just set everything in. You had to carry it all. And plus, like I said, downtown was not set up like a different world, or, a regular college situation. I had to pay for parking, and we had this was the options that we had. You can pay, well, you had to get a parking decal, so that costs. Then you had to pay, if you paid on the with the street meter, then, and you were lucky enough, you paid by the street meter, but you had to have that parking decal, or you could park in this parking lot. The charter bus will pick you up at the parking lot and then drop you off, or you can just park in the parking lot and walk up to the campus and get your exercise in. I did that a few times. I'm gonna tell you, having a chronic illness and what I know now about myself, wasn't probably a good idea for me to be walking like that. Um, so also I set my schedule up where I was at school from like 8 in the morning to like 3 or 4 in the evening. So that meant I needed to have lunch there. And we did not have local small restaurants by us. I think the spaghetti warehouse was like around the corner. So then you have to leave campus, then walk or drive around. And when I say around the corner, I mean like a significant amount of time of area where you had to go to the spaghetti warehouse. And it was just insane the amount of money and the resources that I needed to have that I did not have. And I'm gonna remind you, I was working for Long John Silver's, supposed to get 20 some hours, for probably getting like 10, if that, on a good week. Um, so I had, and then I was too proud to to pack a lunch because, uh, and the few times I did pack a lunch, I didn't do it right. It didn't make sense. I had thrown it. I had to end up throwing it away. Um, so yeah, it was like eating at the like a Piccadilly or a Luby's or Morrison's cafeteria every day. And it was expensive. It was expensive. But we did not have like a little card, a food card to say, okay, this is how much money on my card for my tuition, so I go and scan it. We had that, and I wish that they did. I really do, but what can you do? Then clothes. So I grew up. My mom and dad took me to places like Wieners. Wieners is like Ross before Ross. Um, they had Leeway and all that kind of stuff, and it was the bomb. It really was. A lot of people shop there. But now I'm in college, and people dress different in college. I started seeing people wearing their heels and nice bags and stuff, and just I was like, oh, people dress like this. But I also saw some people wearing their pajamas to school, and so I was trying to find that balance. So credit cards again. I get myself in trouble again. The credit card companies would come to our school and would be like, if you sign up, you can get a t-shirt or hat, or you get approved real quick. So end up getting another card. Then I said one day, I was like, I just feel like going shopping. I just don't even want to be here. I went to the Galleria Mall. Now the Galleria Mall is a big ways difference than going to a Wiener's Leeway or Ross type of situation. So I went in and I got a credit card for Macy's, and um, now mind you, I got it because I knew I had a job, so I knew I would be able to pay for it. I didn't get it where, oh, I'm gonna get it and I'm not gonna. No, I knew I was gonna be able to pay for it, and I knew that I could pay the minimum balance. I was making at least a couple of hundred every 2 weeks. So, I figured I can do it, not really understanding my whole financial structure yet. Y'all, I went absolutely crazy in the store. I remember buying 5 dresses. Um, one of them I still have. The other 4, I don't know what happened to them. But I bought this INC black and gold wrap dress. I still had that sucker, and I paid my when I paid my Macy's bill off. I think I paid up before I got married. That dress has moved with me from Houston, Tallahassee, Maryland, back to Houston. Yes, and a matter of fact, it's still in good shape. I think I need to go in and have a seamstress to kind of do some tweaking on, like it's like has like a couple little holes, like something got caught in it and it made a little hole. But yeah, it was a bad dress. And these dresses were expensive. They were like 200 something dollars, 150, you know. But when I showed up to school, I was looking fly. Matter of fact, tell you another thing I had. I had this outfit. I saw Celine Johnson, the one that sings what's the name of that song? Uh, the way you hit on me, how come you hit on me? Okay, in the video she has this black top and it has long sleeve, but it has these openings on the sleeve. They had that whole outfit there. When I saw it, I was like, that's the outfit I want. That's the outfit. And then the bottoms, it was black flare pants and had a little split on the side. Then I went to Payless and they were having a boot sale. It was like buy one, you know, the BOGO, buy one, get one half off. And so I bought some brown boots, some booties, and some black booties. And them things was fly. Did it help me balance? Did it help me with no, but it was a distraction. And it made me feel like okay, I can kind of fit in a little bit, you know, with school and everything. Another big purchase I bought was a Coach bag. When my refund came in, I was going to go to back to the mall, and I was going to buy a Coach bag and then a Louis bag. I was going to get the little makeup size Louis bag, and I didn't know that my debit card had a limit of what you could spend up per day. So when I bought the Coach bag first, and it was a hobo black bag, and y'all, it was at my parents' house for years. I I lost we lost the bag in transit. My mom gave away a lot of my things that I didn't need, and so I don't know where it is. I went to Neiman's to get the Louis bag, and my credit card shut off. It was like, no, you already went off your limit. And that's when I learned that you have a limit of what you can spend per day. And I did. I never went back to get it. I never went back. Um, Although I have told myself, um, when I become rich, when I become more financially, a little more stable, rich, I'm gonna go and get that bag. I'm going to get the speedy bag and the drawstring bag. So, but it's one of those like it's in my it's like on my little dream vision board list. But it's not in a hurry situation. Another thing I was dealing with was my relationship. I was dating the guy, my high school sweetheart. We had been together at that point 3 years, and he was a nice guy. He was a really cool guy. The problem that or what broke us up was we wanted two different things in life, um, and we were not willing to compromise because of it. We want to grow up in two different ways. I'm doing a live. You wanted to tell me something?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to shut the live off or what? Oh, and my people just told me that England scored 3-2. They giving me the score of the World Cup. My people, some of them in Argentina and different things. My subscribers. So, um, that was my husband. So at this point, this is like October, and I am just it's October 2001. So I'm in a new school. I'm trying to learn that my job is basically they called me or put me on the schedule when they felt like I should be on there. I'm trying to balance studying, working, doing homework, having a social life, and just whatever. So, like I said, the guy I was dating at the time, we wanted two different things in life. Not anything bad. It was just like, okay, he's a year older than me. He had already started college, and he got to like his, I think it was the second year, and he was just like, this is not for me. He wanted a trade. Okay. And he also, he was like, you got to get serious about like finances and money and different things if we're going to like be together and live together and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not, that's a little bit too much for me right now. And we decided to see other people but still be together. Then it went from seeing other people to, oh no, I do like this person that I'm seeing, and I still want to be this person's friend. And that made me jealous. It made me hurt. um we just, it was, time's up. Pretty much it was time up for us to break up. So this September, October, the World Trade thing happened, school and everything, and I am just swimming in life. Okay, we'll go in the go in the potty. Go show daddy so he can help you. Close my door. Go show. Go in there with daddy. No, go in there. Get out. Wait a minute. What did I say? Go. Close my door. Close my door. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. So so here, here I am, this little naive girl that's just trying to make sense of everything. So I got another job. I worked for a wait staff. Sometimes, let me tell y'all, sometimes in life, God will show you paths and places that would say, what you was thinking about doing, that don't make sense. This is where I know you should be. So here's the story. I'm working at a wait staff company. They had recruited us from college, and I was a customer service cashier. So I figured I can do the same thing. They, as a wait staff person, I'm serving maybe 8 to 10 people at a round table, and I may have like 3 or 4 tables a night, that whole night. Or I'm walking around holding the drinks, and people getting the drinks. What I saw in that was, okay, this is a means to an end, but it's going to kill me before I get to the end because it was such hard work. I couldn't lift them trays and put that thing on my shoulder like that and all that. Those, when I see people that can do that ways, I props to you. So I did that. I did maybe about three or four things, and what I saw was this. I did a thing where I worked for Neiman Marcus has this thing that they do every year where, or at least I don't know if they still do it, but at the time it was, if you were there, you had to be on their list of like a reoccurring customer. I think you had to have a Neiman Marcus credit card, and you had to purchase something with them like once or twice that year, and they invite you to this um, what do they call it? It was this like appreciation dinner or luncheon or social, and they had wine and cheese and miniature foods and stuff like that. So I'm talking to this black lady, and I mean, this woman looked so dignified and just beautiful. She was a school teacher, and she had her Louis Vuitton on, and just, but she was very put together, but very like your home girl. So we're talking, And she was just kind of feeding into me, just fortifying me. She was like, "Sweetheart, you look like I'm talking to you, and this is." She said, "Don't make this something that's going to be your entire life. You deserve, more better, something more better than this." Um, and she said, "Being a school teacher, we make okay." She said, "But I wouldn't be able to afford this just on my teacher's salary." She said, my my family got me into real estate, and I have rental homes and properties and stuff like that." And she was just really schooling me and giving me the game, and I was like, okay, I got to look at this as I got to work hard in this in college, but what I do, man, I'm in here struggling. What helped was going to my therapy weekly, going to those that group therapy, then reading the Bible, praying, asking for help. Because I'm gonna tell you, at that time, I looked at life like how people now saying, "Oh, I'm woke, I'm conscious." And I was thinking, I was asking all those questions, like, why is this way, and why do we act this way, and why do we have to do it this way, and all those questions. And what I learned is at that age, you do ask those questions. That is when you start to try to understand theory and understand facts from fiction, and how to put a theory together, how to comprehend and critically think about something. And that's that wait staff position really kind of helped me understand that um, as a wait staff, you just a wait staff. You are invisible. You do what you're supposed to do, and then you leave. They're not here to be your homies, and you're not here to try to um, be all in these business people face. Another thing I saw that really hit me was this one of the last functions I did was a banquet, and I had like 3 or 4 tables. It was a round tables. It had like 8 to 10 people on them things, and they were having like they were being served dishes after dish after dish, and I would find myself struggling to hold that big old ass tray, and whoo. And I remember this black lady. Um, I saw. I never forget this woman had. She was like kind of a heavy set lady, but like she work out like not sloppy fat. She had on some leather pants and some leather boots, and she had this tweed jacket, and she was the coordinator, and she had her hair like on a pixie cut, real beautiful, real beautiful lady. And I saw how poised and how graceful, how she um, presented herself, and how she stayed calm under pressure, because there was a lot of people there, and she was the person that was the mediator between the wait staff and the event situation. And I saw her, and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. I don't have to be the center of attention, but I do want to be that person in the background that someone can say, that's her. Go ask her to help. Um, and I saw that, and that was 20 some years ago, and I still hold on to that. Um, it's not about just getting a job. It's about making a career. It's about building a career. And so stepping back, going in therapy, and therapy taught me, okay, you got to start organizing your thoughts. You got to start organizing your day, prioritizing. You got to start resting. You got to understand what rest means. So I started taking naps at school. I would go in the library, and we had like the way our library was set up. We had these little areas that were kind of like closed off where you can just go to sleep. And I would go and take me a nap after I left, the lab, the tutoring session, or whatever it was I went to. Um, Also, I understood this, that remedial classes was not, oh, you dumb, you slow, you don't know no better, you don't know how to read, you don't know how to write, you don't know how to do math. It was not that. It was, you're not college level ready yet. You're not ready to go into a college level English class or college level math class and just walk in, do do the work, take the notes, do the assignments, and then pass it. There was going to be a whole lot of red marks. There are going to be a whole lot of mistakes before we can get you ready to accept that. And I can tell you, um, even though I went to my high school was a wonderful school. It was a wonderful, historically black high school. Um, the problem, I think, was damn district. Our schools don't teach students like they did when our parents were in school. My parents went to they lived in cities where there was an all black school and then there was an all white school, and they at that time my parents did not go to their schools were not integrated yet, so they learned everything and their from their black teachers. And another thing I learned was their black teachers were the insurance agents, the real estate agents, they were married to the doctors and the lawyer, the black doctors, the black lawyers, and so on and so forth. So it was it was that when I got to school, when I started school, it became about taking a test, taking a standardized test to say that you learned what you're supposed to have learned in school that year, and therefore they'll let you pass. But you're learning how to take a test, not learning how to write or read or take notes or how to study or how to critically think and quantify math problems, equations, and stuff like that. And I'm going to say, I'm not saying I'm not going to put any of my, there's a few teachers that I, I had some really good teachers. I had some really, really good teachers, and I had some not so good teachers. Um, but I was good enough where I did well for passing those tests and passing that stuff and doing my schoolwork and everything. But what I was missing was how to go to school beyond high school and be a scholar. And that's a whole nother thing. And I'm gonna tell you, if you ever seen Different World, when Denise is on there, Denise was like me. She was a, a great student. She did her work. She made A's. And then when she goes to college, those habits that she had of procrastination or it'll get done did not work. And so therefore it affected her being a scholar, thinking and moving like a scholar. Um, you have to look beyond what's in front of you. You have to have faith that you're going to learn and you're going to understand something that's beyond your control or beyond your comprehension. Does that make sense? So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Um, Another situation I had with that college, um, my political science teacher. Oh gosh. Okay, so this lady, and I don't want to say her name because, but taking the notes, and this is how she would do her lectures. She would read her stuff. Like, she didn't converse with you. She read her notes to you, and she basically read as if she was reading a damn textbook to you, and you had to write the notes. And I'm trying to write every single thing. And what I learned later is that you don't write every single thing. You outline it. And what I mean by outlining is you write the topic, and then you write the subtopics that they're talking about. And then and this is for me. And then when if it's a vocabulary word, I put like a VOC to let myself know. Go back and look that vocabulary word up, type of thing. If there was a certain question that needed to be answered, I would write that in the notes. But that was later when I learned how to do this. But this is me not understanding how this stuff goes. And so I remember having a couple of highlighters, and this girl next to me, she was just writing and highlighting. So shoot, my silly ass was copying and doing the same thing she was doing. So this teacher says, um, if you're going to highlight things, then you highlight so that you can remember, not to just highlight just to highlight. I've had, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist of what she was saying and some of the words that she was saying. And I've had students that had pink and yellow hair, and they sat in front of in my class, and they didn't need all of that, and they were they would make A's. She was very condescending and very dismissive. And silly me, I fell to the first class. When I dropped it, I was like, I can't do this. Went back the second time, I took it again, and I was like, why your silly ass do this? This lady is not for you. And I took history, my first time taking history, freshman history, and the professor we had, we was in an auditorium, and she was very, very monotone, like Ben, what's his name? Ben Stiller, the one that was on First Bueller Day Off, and he was like, Bueller. That's how this lady was. Very, very monotone. No cadence in her voice, nothing like that. And um, the class, no one asked questions. It was only this one little guy that sat in front, and he would just constantly asking her questions, and he stuttered. So they were pretty much having a conversation by themselves. And I don't, I'm not that type of student. I need to interact. I need to understand. But at the same time, if I wasn't doing my part of studying, then I was just lost. I was just lost in the sauce. Um, what what I'm understanding about myself is that um, things just don't fall from the sky. You have to work hard for them. So, like I said, being with that school for 3 years, it was like, okay, no, it's not 3 years, sorry. 2 years. They were done with me and I was done with them. Then I go to community college. And community college, if you all have not gone, or if you're thinking about going, or you're on, you have know someone that is about to enter, I'm gonna say this: community college, junior colleges is the best. It's the best. And here's why: those professors there, they not only work at your junior college, but they're working at the other colleges surrounding you. That's not their only job. They're working at the black college. They're working at the other white colleges. They just doing that whole little circle. And you're getting the best of both worlds. Plus, they understand that you are in a community college and that you are working and going to school, and you are trying, and they really kind of understand that, and they take that in consideration, because they're like, you know, this person may work 30, 40 hours a week, and they're going to school and this and that. And if I also learn, if you communicate with your professors about your situations and ask them for help, it's going to go smoother. It's going not smooth. It's going to go a little bit better, because they can help you navigate and roadmap your way through their class. I have not met professors that are just like, here, let me push you on through. No, but they did help me understand, or showed me ways, or gave me advice, or pointed me into directions of help, assistance. which was which was what I needed. Um, I was I am um, always a student at heart, and I love to learn. But I also understood that it has to show up. I have to show up in that way all the time. So, um, going back to ACC, another thing I learned that I was introduced to was African American pride, just black pride. Let me say this: black pride, and black pride in the sense of you belong here, and your family has gone through X, Y, and Z, but you belong in this spot. I remember I was invited to a meeting about natural hair. And at the time, like I said, my professor knew that I was a nail technician, so she invited me to go to this summit or little conference that they were having on campus. And I met with a couple of cosmetologists. They had a cosmetology school to come in, students, and then they had a couple other people that they were associated with that had like natural hair, locks, and stuff like that. This is in the early 2000s. Let me tell you, it was not a big deal. It was not, it was not becoming a big deal yet, but it was coming. And people were trying to explain and show us that you do not have to use a relax on your head. The relaxers are damaging. You can go natural and you can look a certain way, and you can wear your hair natural and be in a corporate setting. And let me tell you, as a black woman coming up, that was so confusing because it was like if my hair wasn't right, then you don't I can't show up because I'm not put together. Um, and having lupus and so on and so forth, I struggled with my hair falling out. My hair started falling out when I was in the third grade. Um, and y'all, it was so embarrassing and shameful. Um, my mother and my sister did, and my grandmother, when I told you about the other day, they did a lot with helping mask it because we did not know why this was happening. We had theories. They all had theories of alopecia. They had theories of, just stress, um, um, illness, but it was more like maybe she gets these really bad colds and her hair, is falling out from there. And what happened right up at the top right here, it will fall out and it will look like this. And then in the back, it will fall out and it will look like this. And I'm going to show y'all some pictures of me. So I started wearing weave ponytails in the third grade. And then the fourth grade, we moved up from the weave ponytails to having to cut my hair in a mushroom mullet. This part. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Cutting that little part, this down to a mullet, and then leaving the back long. And then it went to um, fifth grade where she had to go in and put a weave, a sew in my head. I'm gonna say this. I thank my sister and my mother and my grandmother for putting those things in my head, for at least trying to help me keep my little dignity. Um, and we all did the best that we could with what we knew at that time. As I got older and I found out what it is now, I'm natural. I've been completely natural of any relaxers. Let's just say relaxers first. My son is 15. I um I stopped wearing relaxers when he was, matter of fact, when he was born. Like when I was pregnant with him, I think she did like a texturizer. But after that, I didn't put anything. I actually went and cut. went in the bathroom and cut my hair off. I think he was like 6 weeks old, and I just went in and just cut all that stuff off. And I never went back. And I just stayed in a study mode of trying to learn natural hair, natural products, finding the stuff, finding stylists, finding products that'll work. So that was that. Um, trying to trying to put this in pieces together for you. My hair journey has been, my hair and my health has been intertwined my whole life. And without the proper diagnosis, it was a guessing game. And then when there wasn't enough guesses, or all the guesses had been used up, it became, from my from the medical standpoint, oh, she's just making this up. She's crying wolf. We had a doctor that said this. She's just crying wolf. She's trying to get out of school, or her own responsibilities and stuff like that. This is how mean this man was, this asshole of a doctor. But thank God I have family, parents, and a sibling that was like, no, hell no, that's not her. She's very serious about her work and her school and everything. This is something medical. And if you're not going to see that, we would take our business elsewhere. And I thank God they did, because when they moved me to the to another primary care pediatrician, within, I think it was a few months, that's when they did that test to say I was like 15 going to 16, that I had lupus. But they could not officially diagnose me because I was a juvenile and I couldn't take the adult medicines for it. But it showed up on the labs. So I say all that to say, um, I learned how to advocate for myself at a very young age, and I had to continue to learn how to advocate for myself growing up. And sometimes it was a very difficult thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to do. Um, I'll tell you this story about me and males. So I have this thing. It's called males, malignant something alignment. Basically, there is. I was born with compressions. If you ever seen like a garden hose, like for example, I'm gonna show you. This is my cord, my phone cord. So this is what a compression would be like. Okay, and the celiac artery is your main artery that goes to the top of your brain all the way down, like all by, and it helps you. It has multifunctions. It's like central center of your heart, your nervous system, the blood flow, the valve, all of that. And so I had these compressions, and no one knew this was the symptoms I was having. I would just throw up out of nowhere, just, or, and it was so embarrassing because it would happen at inopportune times, while I was in school, or if I was out having dinner or lunch with someone, or if I'm at home, it just came unexpectedly. One time, and let me say this, it started when I was probably about first or second grade. And it was always, oh, she just got a nervous stomach, or Kalia, you need to slow down, you're doing too much. Um, then it became it became a diarrhea situation. It was even worse because this stuff was happening while I was in school and stuff like that, and it was so embarrassing. And I had some teachers that were some bitches. They were not nice. They were not comforting. They were not sympathetic. And when I speak of, I'm going to say not all of them, just two in particular. So this kept going. This kept going. Elementary, middle school was getting worse because by middle school, before I even ate anything, I was doing this. And I remember my parents asking me, "Girl, are you pregnant?" And I'm like, "No, I ain't even." Look, this is how I was with boys. I was the shyest person when it came to talking to a boy. For one, I wasn't supposed to, and then if a guy told me he liked me, oh child, I mean, I find all kind of excuses not to say something. And then there was some guys I just, talked to or whatever, but I was nowhere near a fast, hot in the tail type of young lady. And it would hurt my feelings. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything sexual. I mean, most I probably did was kiss. And that was a whole nother story. And then my hair was falling out and I had these skin changes. Then I would swell up, um, and it would just. I I look at pictures, and to me I'm unrecognizable. So, oh, sorry, y'all. So that's what was happening. We didn't find out about the celiac artery until I was 39, 40 years old. Um, my gastroenterologist that I've been with him for almost 10 years now. He found the situation on we had because routine upper endo, and he remembered when he went in the first time this that something didn't look right, and he said, "I'm going to find what's the problem." And I prayed before he did the procedure, and I prayed, Lord, this was my prayer. Lord, show him where it is, because I don't know. Show him where it is and show him how to fix it, or show him to or get him help him find the person that's going to help me get this fixed. And sure enough, he said, I went in and I saw, certain the same similar things. He said, but I saw that pinch. I saw that compression. And he said, I think it's mouths. He said, I'm almost for certain it's mouths, but I need to get a specialist to come in and look at it. So he referred me to two specialists. And um, they were they are the two top surgeons in their field for doing these types of things. And one of the surgeons, he works with his wife. She is she does all of his x-rays and images, so she knows what he's looking for. And let me tell you, having mouths and trying to get the labs and the testing, you have to know what you're doing. It's not a just take an x-ray and then move on. This lady was practically on my chest trying to make sure that they were getting the correct spots. First time I ever had surgery where two doctors worked on me at the same time. So, yeah, it was something. Um, so having dealt with that, once the diagnosis came, I felt so vindicated because I had always said something was wrong. Something was wrong. And I tell you, I thank God that I had a belief system. I had a belief system in God. I had parents that were nurturing, that helped push me to keep going and not to just sit back and say, okay, I don't want to do it no more, or I can't do it no more. And I went far and beyond what people wanted me to do. I've seen places that some people that I grew up with would probably never see. So those were some of the things dealing with that. Um, so my whole life, the chronic illness has been a part of me. The problem was lupus could not, at that time in the 90s, it could not be diagnosed for juveniles. Some of the doctors did not want to take the extra time and say, let me go and check and see if there's something else. So with that, um, then I also deal with adrenaline disease. So I have a tumor I was born with on my adrenaline gland. And your adrenaline gland is this gland that's right underneath or between your kidneys and your liver, and it affects your it produces your hormones, your cortisone, all of those things to help your body to repair itself and to keep functioning. Well, um, I I found out that my doctors had been looking at this thing, or they've known about it for like a little over 10, 13 years, and they were making notes. No one told me that there was a tumor in there. No one told me they were looking at the size. This is how they justified it. No, this is how I found out. My doctor said, "Oh, and the tumor." And I said, "Well, what tumor? What are you talking about?" The tumor on your adrenaline gland. It has grown significantly. I said, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about?" And so, "You didn't know?" And I said, "No, I did not. I don't know what you." It was like, "Okay, their notes on notes that they have every time you had studies and stuff, they would see it. They saw it, and then they would make a note like, okay, she has a tumor, is these centimeters, is this centimeters, or we didn't see it, or it's smaller, or it's bigger, or whatever." But no one told me. And what this tumor did was, or is, it has caused me, I am a diabetic because of it, and I have high blood pressure because of it. So let me go back a little bit. So, I'm growing up and living, and it was always make sure you don't want to get diabetes, so you don't want to eat like this, and you don't want to eat that, and you don't want to do that, and, you don't want to stress and have the high blood pressure. Well, my body never gave me that damn option. It said, you're going to have it now, and that's it. And when you find out, that's it. You're going to take medicine for the rest of your life. And the hope was that they can go in and just take the tumor out, and then the drillings will be okay. Both glands will be okay, and we'll be all right. Well, when they went and did the study, it put me to sleep and did put a tube in my growing, and they did the testing, find out both glands were bad, and they could not be removed. So that hurt. That hurt a lot. That hurt a lot. And then it's also, I have to be careful. Like, I'm steroids is always the go-to when I'm in a flare or when I get infection, or whatever. Well, now it's no, no, we can't do that. No, no, we can't do that because she has adrenaline disease. She has the kidney disease. We gotta wait. We gotta do something else. We gotta do another type of therapy. Um, Antibiotics is another situation. I'm allergic to antibiotics that have sulfur in it. I found that out um, when I had my 2010 flare. Had some antibiotics because had a sinus infection, cold, and this particular antibiotic that I was given it was a sulfur, and it had sulfur in it, and it just whoo. So it's on my list of allergies and stuff like that. Um, I can tell you having the diagnosis for the different things has been vindication for me. It says I was not lying. I was telling the truth. Um, there is and was something going on. This is not black magic. This is not um, um, the devil trying to tear me apart. It's none of that, because I have heard all that craziness. And let me tell you, You just gonna have what you're gonna have. You may not leave here with it, but you're gonna have what you're gonna have, whatever that is. But I'll tell you what I learned from all of this is how to eat clean. And what I mean by eat clean, when I purchase something, the thing, we go to the grocery store, we're looking for certain things. I try we try our best to find foods that the ingredients is something that we can read and we can understand it and I can pronounce it. If I can't pronounce it, we not trying we're not you're trying to get that. And another thing, I try to make make like do a DIY thing of a condiment or make my own seasonings, um, and have a control system like that. Um, Going and researching seasonings and spices and ingredients and herbs that are natural. So, for example, I add arrowroot starch to my diet, and we eat. I put it in our food. I put it in my skincare beauty products. Someone asked me yesterday about my hobbies. Skincare products is my one of my big hobbies. Um, and I'm constantly researching. I'm constantly trying to find the alternative for something so that I'm looking at it in a sense of, if I go this route, then it should, or I'm looking for the outcome to be, I will have a better outcome with this. Like right now, I am researching and compiling a list of how to make my own ketchup. Yeah, and barbecue sauce. Um, so those are what I'm trying to explain to you. Um, it has put a fight in me to want to fight, to want to keep going. And then I look at my two little boys who they both have autism, high function, but their spectrum is different. And I have to be mommy for them. Then my husband as well. I have to be wife for him. I'm his best friend. He's my best friend. So I have to look out for us. I have to make sure we're okay. Um, One of my son's teachers asked me. She said, "Miss Kelly, do you make like different meals for the family?" I said, What do you mean?" She was like, "Well, like did David get a certain meal and then you all get a certain meal?" I said, "I used to do that. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore." And what I mean by that, for a long time, and because I was in Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all these diets, I was always making food for myself. And that's expensive. And not only that, I'm the only one eating it. And then I can't eat all of it because I can't digest it. So when I had the gastric sleeve, I went full in, and I had to be successful with it. So I started looking at everything and cutting and, okay, can't have that. Okay, now we're not gonna do this. Okay, they say you can't have this stuff. You gotta chew it this a long while. You gotta, you can't drink while you're eating. You gotta all of those things. Um, and so that's what was happening. That's how I was learn the clean living. Then when I had the revision surgery, from the gastric sleeve to the gastric bypass, my clean living had to go further because they took out more of my stomach. So I was eating less, but I had to make sure I had put all the nutrients in my body. So I remember at one point I was trying to be a vegetarian, like a complete vegan. That did not work because my labs were showing I was malnourished. I was not getting enough nourishment. And so I I had to keep the meat in my body. Then I started researching what are some of the good, like what are some of the best um, uh, meats that have the amino acids, the different things that are going to that's going to nourish not only my body but my son and my husband, my family. And I found out through research that with autism, you want to incorporate a lot of beef for them. If you can get it grass fed, and y'all can like, because let me say this, I would like to one day do a co-op with people where we share and we go in on a buying a cow, and we break, we get a butcher to break that down, and we get our meat, our specialty meats. I would love to do that. um I also make my own seasonings. I had to stop, and let me say this, I haven't completely just given up on mixed seasonings, but when I have them, I don't use as much as I would say if I just had it separate. Um, and I make notes. I make recipe notes of how much is in my house seasoning, what type of seasoning I'm doing, what am I putting in it, and I write it down. I make notes. All of that stem from understanding how to be a scholarly student, how to balance life, how to balance um, living, healthy living, how to sit there and eat breakfast. Because I'm telling you, I was not a breakfast person, and when I was getting sicker, I had to was it was told and understood to me, or was told to me, and it helped me understand you have to have a breakfast that is sustainable, at least for the first few hours of your morning, so that you're not either overeating or undereating. Um, and so that's what that was. So I think I shared enough today. I need to kind of take a break, and but I love you all. I thank you for listening to my stories. Um, this was very, very therapeutic for me, because my therapist and I, we talk about me telling you all things about me and what I've gone through. And one of my biggest fears is word vomit. I don't like to just start babbling and talking. Um, I have been thinking about what I want to talk to you all about and how I want to present it. And I also prayed on it because I wrote it down. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. So now I know God is giving me those. He's ordering my steps, and He's ordering my thoughts and my words and how I'm speaking to you all. Because I'm speaking to you all very comfortably, and I'm feeling very comfortable. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Keep up with me. I love you. Peace.